Welcome to our podcast. I'm Phil, and I'm here with my friend Tom, who does not know what the podcast is about because we listened to the dollop, and that's why that intro is there. Tom, in a moment, I am going to play the theme song and tell you what we're going to do, but do you have any guesses?
Oh, sweet. No, I don't.
Okay, then I will just proceed, and I will play the theme song for you now. Please open your ears.
They're open.
Wakey, wakey.
Okay.
Okay, what'd you think?
That was pretty good.
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, let me explain a little bit. Okay, the
Sure.
title of the podcast is I'll Make a Stay Out of You.
Okay.
Tom, what do you know about K-pop?
Oh, wow. I know that people really like it. Some people that I know quite personally, like yourself and my wife Anna. So
Yeah. It's just one of those things where, like, I'm not the target demographic, nor are you. But I don't know if it's pandemic madness or if it's just boredom or whatever, but Jeanette and I have gotten, like, sucked down this weird rabbit hole. And part of this is, like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why it's caught my attention. I don't understand why it's, like, fascinated me. And so, but we've just been so into K-pop, and specifically one group of K-pop stars, which would be Stray Kids.
right.
And I'll explain more. The first episode that we're having here is just going to be like kind of like a rough overview of the history of K-pop. So, like, it should establish a baseline for us, and it'll be super fun.
Okay.
We're going to go into the basics because in the coming weeks we will be watching a Korean TV show.
Okay.
The full history of K-pop music extends further back, and maybe someday we'll do a more in-depth discussion of that, but for right now, we're just going to skim the surface just to understand what we're watching. So the modern era of K-pop started in 1992 with the group Seo Taiji and the Boys. And don't worry, I can't pronounce anything in Korean, so it's just gonna be, if anybody listens to this ever and they're like a big stan and they know K-pop, they're gonna be like, nails on a chalkboard, but I'm gonna do my best, I promise. Seo
Sure.
Taiji and the Boys are credited with changing the South Korean music industry by pioneering the use of rap in Korean popular music and utilizing social critique. In 1994, another artist came out and was popular, and his name was J.Y. Park, commonly known as JYP. He released his debut album, Blue City. In 1995, the first of what would go on to be called the Big Three Entertainment Agencies, and SM Entertainment, was founded. They would go on to manage some of the first groups which gained popularity outside of Korea. And when I say outside of Korea, at this time, it meant Japan and China and, like, Southeast Asian countries. We're not talking
Sure.
about the West. Opening up the West happened like Gangnam Style, like, you understand.
Right. Yeah.
So, in 1996, Seo Taiji and the Boys disbanded so the members could pursue other solo projects, and one of the members, Yang Hyun-suk, the same year founded the second of the big three, YG Entertainment. Then in 1997, the last of the big three, JYP Entertainment, was founded by J.Y. Park, the second artist we talked about a little bit.
Okay.
So, yeah. So now that we've established some history, I want to take a detour to talk about how these agencies work. Because they don't just represent artists, but they actively recruit and train people to become artists, usually in groups put together by the agency. This follows the idol business model from Japan, and SM Entertainment is credited with popularizing it in Korea. So this next part, I'm just going to, like, take a huge swath from Wikipedia because it does a really good job summarizing what the trainee process is like, because it's a little ridiculous. So the trainee process lasts for an indefinite period of time, ranging from months to years, and usually involve
Jesus.
vocal, dance, and language classes taken while living together with other trainees, who sometimes attend school at the same time, although some trainees drop out of school to focus on their careers. Once a trainee enters the system, they are regulated in multiple aspects, including personal life and to body conditions and visual appearances. The survival.
Hey, it sounds like the military.
Yeah, the survival and training and regulation take precedence over natural talent in production of Korean idols. So they actually get a lot more training to just become idols rather than having like inborn talents. Like you usually have some kind of talents, and different agencies look for different stuff, but they get so much training to like perfect themselves. The system requires trainees to maintain a quote wholesome image while remaining, quote, private about their lives and thoughts.
Thoughts?
Yes, lives and thoughts. You may not have thoughts that have not been consulted through the company. Former trainees have reported that they were required to go through plastic surgeries, such as, and I'm not going to try and pronounce this, so we're going to go with eyelid surgery or a rhinoplasty, which is a nose job, in order to adhere to acceptable Korean beauty standards. Further criticism towards the trainee system arose regarding the company's harsh weight restrictions, which often cause trainees to pass out from exhaustion or dehydration in an attempt to reach the required weight for their desired program.
Oh my God.
The investment on a potential trainee could be expensive. In 2012, the Wall Street Journal reported that the cost of training one member of Girls' Generation under SM Entertainment was $3 million.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's not like they're not putting money in, but
Right.
I imagine they must be able to squeeze some blood from that diamond, as it were. Now, what we're going to be watching is called a survival show. Do you know what a survival show is? Have you heard of this thing, this phenomenon?
Survival, like as in the game or the game show Survivor?
Survivor?
Okay.
Survivor? Yes, how they do it is they take 20 Korean idols or potential idols, trainees, to an island, and then they make them survive and then do obstacle courses and gradually vote each other out. And then that's how they pick a
Wait.
an
Are we
idol
talking
group.
about Survivor or this Korean thing?
No, we're talking about this Korean thing. What are you
Oh
talking
my
about?
Lord. What? Are you kidding me? I thought like the way that you just described it sounded like Survivor.
Yeah, I
So-
was describing Survivor. That's not what actually happens.
Okay.
Yeah, no, sorry. I know I'm confusing you because I was totally thrown off by you being like Survivor, and I was like, I've never heard anyone think that, but that's hilarious. Okay, so no, it's not like Survivor at all, other than it is a reality show.
Holy shit. I was like, there's no way. What does this have to do about being an idol?
I
Okay.
mean, it could happen someday. I really wouldn't shock me if there was an idol group at some point, even already, who had a survival show that literally was a survival show. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at this point.
So you're
But a
talking about
survival
like
show-
The Voice.
Right. It's just like The Voice.
Right.
In fact, so the survival show, it's a reality show. It usually involves having a pool of contestants that are trainees, becoming teams, competing against each other in challenges, usually involving like the stuff that they learn, dance, acting, singing, all that kind of stuff. And then they gradually eliminate them until a winner is chosen if they're going for one person, or if they are going to put a group together, then they may have like 7 and they have like 20 trainees. So they have to slowly eliminate that down till
Right.
they have like all the trainees that they want.
Yeah. Gotcha.
It's partly about building a group, but it also is like a huge marketing benefit for the group. Before they ever make any songs, before they ever do anything, like you get to start seeing like, who are these people? And you start developing like a relationship while watching them do this survival show.
Right.
Also, just in general, K-pop groups put out an enormous amount of content beyond just making music. Individual groups are usually cast to fit like different roles. We see that in like American boy bands as well, where they have like a young cute member and an older rebellious member. Like they have to fit fan expectations because they're literally marketing. I mean, different artists have different personalities just in general, but like a lot of times if you see them posing for pictures, like the cute one, the young one will like pose in a specific way. Like you can tell that like, oh, okay, they're the cute one, or they're trying that. Sometimes they're just goofing off and they'll try to be the cute one, and everybody laughs, ha ha ha, so funny. You're not the cute one, but they're all cute.
Sure.
Anyway, so picking a favorite member of a group is referred to as a bias, meaning you are biased towards them. And K-pop groups, yeah, I know, that really makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like that. That's what that word means.
Yeah, that's what it means. But like, you know, it's one of those things that I still need to understand a little bit better, right? Because there is that you have a bias. Oh, my bias is this person, such and such. But then also like people stan different people, and I'm like, is stan different than having a bias, or is stan like a Western term and bias? So we'll figure it out.
I've heard Anna use this word before, and I never know what it means. So
stan?
I'm glad. Yeah.
Okay, so I do know what stan means, but let me.
We'll get into it, I guess.
Portmanteau. It's a portmanteau.
A portmanteau.
That's two different words that slap together.
Oh.
That's fine. It doesn't have to be what I thought it was. Internet. Okay. So, moving on. K-pop groups also have subgroups where the greater focus is on one part of the entertainment. So, common ones would be like vocals, rap, dance, and visuals. I still don't understand visuals. I think it's just, they're all supposed to be pretty, so I don't know who the quote-unquote visuals are, but like that's maybe because the group that I'm in, like everybody is visual. I have no idea.
Visual as in like your actual physical appearance, or visual as in the show?
I don't know the answer to that, because the show is a lot of like dance and singing, right? Or rapping. And that's something that's also interesting just in general. Like rap in K-pop is like, in the US it's a genre, but in K-pop it's like no, that's just part of the song. You just have your rap guy do a rap in the middle of your pop song, and that's just like what you do.
Right.
And it's just
I'm just thinking visuals in terms of like showmanship, because like you could, you know, even when we're talking about non-Korean boy bands, you can listen to or go see anybody live, but what makes the show is like the lights and the different, I don't know, like different personal flares that they add to it. So maybe, I don't know, is that part of it, you know, as far as the visuals go?
I don't know enough to be able to refute that. So maybe I think it's maybe, because when I think of visual, at least with, you know, my background is usually in like Japanese entertainment, right? Like I've been watching anime since I was a kid, and I've been into like music, and there's a genre within Japan called Visual Kei, and it's kind of like a gothic style of music, and then the members, you know, wear crazy makeup and dress up and have their hair in, you know, odd styles, and they'll wear dresses or whatever. Like, so it's like meant to be like that kind of style. And so when I heard visual as being like a subgroup, I thought, oh, well, these are the people who like have like crazy, they're like the most beautiful member of the group or something, you know, like, I don't know, but yeah, that's a good point, and we'll figure it out someday, or maybe somebody will come in and fact check our show and then like be like, oh, you guys, you're old.
How do you idiots not know about this?
Yeah, you're old and you don't know anything. Get on TikTok, losers. I don't know. It's, you know, it's. This is totally a sidebar, but like I've been on the Stray Kids subreddit for a while now because it's like a good place, I feel like, to get information as stuff comes out. And I saw a thread once where people were talking about like, oh, well, you know, what are the ages of people who are fans and stuff? And like, in no way will you or I ever be considered like a young fan of Stray Kids ever, because there was somebody in there who was like, oh yeah, you know, I'm an old fan. I'm an older fan. I'm like a grandpa. I'm in my mid-20s. So, and I was going, oh no, your mid-20s? I'm in my late 30s.
Yeah. Hey, I'm almost there. I mean, yeah, I'm coming up on my early 30s. Hey, look at that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
But you would still be a grandpa stay if you become a stay, which is the point of this show. So.
Okay, so there's a stay and there's a stan, and there's a fan and there's a
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
jump the gun.
Sure. All right, I'll sit back.
And of course, I'm here like reading my script here, and I got signed out of iCloud. So you were like vamping for a while, which helped me get signed back in. That was great.
Okay.
And then I talked about it anyway. Okay, so content released by groups consists of everything from vlogs to live streams to produced reality shows. So, for instance, like Stray Kids, every single Sunday, the leader of their group does a live stream that's 3 hours long, and he hasn't missed an episode in over 100 weeks. And he's had to delay a couple of episodes. And I think he did longer streams for those, and they do all kinds of stuff. Usually he'll play a playlist. He'll have like a playlist of songs that he wants to like talk about or listen to with just people live chatting him. Or there's been other ones where he produced a song from start to finish in the stream and then played it for everybody. Yeah. So pretty great. That's unique. And so we'll talk a little bit about how they're unique, once we start watching the show. Okay, so this is perfect because this is what you were just asking about. Most groups have a name for their fan base, which lets them talk to them like they're speaking directly to the viewer, building an intimate parasocial relationship. So for Stray Kids, the fandom is named Stay, and so that's why this podcast is called I'll Make a Stay Out of You, because my goal for us is to experience together the all of the Stray Kids content, and maybe not all of it, but like we're gonna start with their survival show because they have a survival show.
Oh, great!
And it's not long. It's 10 episodes, and we'll just do like a podcast on every single episode, and we'll watch it together. I'll have notes probably beforehand, or we can make notes while we're watching it, and then we'll just kind of go through like the beats of the episode and talk about it and see how we feel over time, because they're gonna try and hook you, and we'll see if it works.
Yeah, we'll see which one I like. Which one I
which one is gonna be your bias?
Oh, yeah. My bias.
Yes, Stan or bias. I'm not sure, but we'll go with bias. Bias sounds less crazy. But
what if is one of them named Stan? Because I would stand for Stan if that were the case.
No Stans. There's a Chan.
Okay. Should I stand for this, or
should I stand Chan?
Yeah.
Maybe. He's cool. I like him. He's from Australia.
Oh. What? I thought this was a South Korean thing.
I'll explain a little bit, but we'll go on to talking a little bit more about JYP Entertainment, because that's one of the big three that they work for. So our main focus is JYP. JYP, the artist, and he became known as a producer and hit maker in the early 2000s when working in collaboration with other companies and forming groups under his label. Additionally, he was also cast as a judge on a long-running audition survival show called K-Pop Star, where the contestants would perform to join one of the agencies as a trainee. And that show is exactly like American Idol or anything like that, where they actually go on these. They're kids usually who do not have they may have some training or whatever, and they're performing. And what you see on K-Pop Star or that kind of show, where they say, okay, we're gonna do these interviews with all these different people, similar to American Idol. They do that year round, around in different places all around the world. They'll open up little either pop-ups, or they'll have actual locations in different countries like Japan or China, and they will do auditions, and they'll just have people come in and have a bunch of people perform in a row and see if anybody qualifies, meets the characteristics that they're looking for, which is nuts. But
sure,
yeah, so they can get people. They don't have to be in South Korea. They can be from different countries. Most of the time they will be South Korean, and JYP actually requires that their artists learn to speak English, Japanese, and Korean.
Wow.
So, and they will sing in all three languages.
Oh, so that's why because I have listened to a sampling of K-pop music or even
Right.
J-pop really, and I noticed that they do. Oh, well, I mean, you could say the same for even like anime intros, where most of the lyrics will be in either Japanese or Korean, but then sometimes there's that line that is in like very clear English, and you're like, what the hell's going on with this song?
Right. Yeah. No, exactly. And it's a lot of times their purpose is they want to. Well, a lot of times it's just because it fits better. Maybe the rhythm of whatever word it would be in Japanese doesn't flow as well, and so they'll just throw English in there.
Yeah.
But in some cases, there are some groups who have released just full English albums, and one of those was brought about in 2015 when JYP hosted a survival show called 16, which put 16 trainees against each other and to debut as the next JYP girl group. And that group debuted with the name Twice. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but after their debut, they released multiple hits domestically and in Japan, and they became the first female Korean act to simultaneously top both the Billboard World Albums chart and the World Digital Song Sales chart with the release of their first studio album in 2017.
This was their band name is 16.
The show name was 16. The band name was Twice. Twice. Yeah. Okay. And so they've been around for a while now because it was 2017 that they released their first studio album. And they don't release studio albums as like their first thing generally. Normally they release short albums and they'll release singles and like they build up a catalog before like they go, okay, here's our big album, and then they go on a tour or whatever. So and each of the albums, I'm coming to learn this like relatively new, is that like the albums are not like albums in the US where like you would just like go out, you buy a CD, it might have some liner notes with lyrics or whatever, and that's fine. We recently went to, there's a K-pop store in Austin, and so Jeanette and I went for our anniversary. We were like, we're gonna go out, we're gonna leave the kids with the grandparents, we're gonna go out and we're gonna go to the K-pop store and we're gonna look for Stray Kids merch. And and we got there and they had albums and stuff there, and they were huge. They're like box sets, like DVD box sets.
Yeah.
So we bought one of them, and the album that we bought is the only, it's the actual full album that Stray Kids released called Go Live, and there were 3 different colors, and we were like, okay, what's the difference? And they go, of course I'm like looking at them going like, oh man, these people are like, people who don't know anything about K-pop. Jeez. But like we didn't know, and so they were like, oh, it's different themes. They'll have different photo shoots, and I'm like, it's a CD, right? Like,
yeah.
What? Okay, so anyway, so we just like picked one at random, and we were like, this will be fine. I was like, well, they've never taken a bad picture, so let's just get this one. It's fine. No laughs. They didn't laugh at all. I thought that was hilarious. No laughs. But so we bought one. We got into the car. We opened it up after going to Top Notch Burger, and we're looking at it, and it's got like there's like 2 like photo picture cards in there of 2 of the members, and there's
for your wallet or purse.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. I don't know. I don't know what people do with them. Maybe they trade them, but there's not just 2 members.
Yeah,
there's not just 2 members. So if you wanted all of the photo cards, or if you didn't get your favorite, then you might want to trade with someone or whatever. Like,
sure.
I don't know. It's crazy. And then it also came with a large photo book of the boys and them in various poses and like doing photo shoots and doing music videos and stuff like that. So like it came with a lot of content besides just the CD. So it's pretty weird. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it. So
honestly, that doesn't surprise me though, because when I'm out on patrols or whatever, any port that we go to, I try to like find something that is unique about that port to buy. But sometimes you don't really like. Sometimes it's hard to find that. So what I'll do instead is try to find something that maybe would be tough for me to find, like buy Anna something that would be tough for me to find anywhere else. And I bought her it was like I was in the exact same situation you were in, but I didn't know like I didn't know anything about this, so I'm looking at this. It was for BTS, which I believe is that's
Okay,
J-pop,
yeah.
right?
No, BTS is K-pop.
BTS is
They're like
K-pop.
the-
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they're the biggest K-pop group in the world.
okay. Well,
And okay? Here's an interesting side note. I was like, oh, okay. I was learning about all this stuff, and like I told you, there's 3 main agencies, the big
Yeah.
3, and they refer to them as the big 3.
Right.
And they put out all these big artists and stuff, but I also know BTS is the biggest act in the world, at least right now. Like they're the biggest K-pop boy group, and so I go, okay, that's cool. So which of the big 3 do they work for? They don't. They work for a different label. And I'm like, well, how are they the
Weird.
big 3? They don't have the big one. Anyway, I'll figure it out later. We'll do an episode, I'm sure. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so you got a BTS album?
right, yeah, but I went through like that same like those the mental gymnastics of like, is this a CD? That's all I want, right? I'm just trying to buy a BTS CD, but it's like this whole elaborate thing, and I'm like, it said I don't know, there was some indicator on it, like maybe like the CD, the compact disc logo or something on it, where I was like,
Right.
okay, there is a CD in here. I'm not buying like not a CD.
Right.
So I know at least it's got this logo. There's got to be music in this box, right? But it's like it's full of like all this random stuff, and you're like, well, that's kind of that's neat. Nobody else does that. I mean, no other type of artists do that, so
Right.
that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, it's actually cool. Recently I've been obviously getting into listening to vinyl more, and no K-pop comes out on vinyl, so I'm not worried about it. But I just listen to vinyl in general, and like that's a large part of it. It's like you get a lot of stuff like the cover art's all blown up, so you can really like look at what they're trying to put forward. Like a part of it is the whole package. It's not just like, oh, it sounds warmer and nicer on vinyl. Like it's having the whole thing. It's the ritual of doing all the stuff. And so I imagine for people who are big fans of these groups and are buying like all these different albums, like that's part of it for them, is you get all this extra stuff, which is really cool. And we also had ordered, and at some point we may watch, Stray Kids put out a concert Blu-ray, which they recorded just before like in 2019 in I think it was November or December. So it was like they had a world tour planned, and then they had to cancel half the dates because of COVID.
Right.
But they were able to perform at least the one time in Korea. I think they performed a few times in Korea and in Japan, but they didn't get to do the full tour that they were already planning. I got the Blu-ray. So in the future, I think one of the things we'll do is we'll watch the Blu-ray, and we're probably going to watch their most recent show, which I have been dying to talk to somebody about. So nobody my age is in any way interested. So instead, I'm going to make you into someone who's interested so I can talk to you about it. It's perfect. It's the perfect plan.
Hey, I'm sure Anna's not gonna mind.
No, no. She won't. It's gonna be fine. Except you're gonna learn to love a group that's not BTS. Is BTS her favorite? Is that what I'm learning here today?
Well, I don't know about anymore, but I mean, I would say so. I mean, I don't want to speak for her, but yeah, I mean, they're
men speaking for women is like the greatest pastime of our country. So you're probably right. You shouldn't do it.
Well,
yeah, you shouldn't.
Let's just say I've what's the right word? I've been
unintentionally.
I've unintentionally listened to a lot of BTS.
I see.
Unconsensually listen to a lot of BTS.
All right.
But I don't hate it, like it is good music. It's just not my go-to.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so okay, well, where we left off before we detoured into that tangent was that we were in 2017, where Twice was super successful. And in 2017, JYP premiered a new survival show titled Stray Kids.
Oh.
And that's where we're going to start our journey, is right after, on the heels of Twice debuting with their album and having huge success. And they're still like one of the like most successful artists like currently. And they're one of like 2 girl groups who have ever been successful in Japan as a Korean girl group. And when I say successful, I think that I mean like they have like a really strict rating system for like, okay, like they call it like certification. When you sell this many albums in Japan, then you could become certified as a hit or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm interested in.
Isn't that how like the different grades of CDs are like releasing
right, exactly.
and
gold,
like yeah,
gold, win platinum,
right, exactly. Yeah. It's just based on sales, right?
Yeah, it's just based on sales. I wonder if they take into account, like I'm sure that Billboard has some kind of take into account of like charting like streams, because like obviously with K-pop it's a little different because they include so much shit that like people are interested in buying the actual physical copies. But I imagine like when a new song comes out, people just go, oh yeah, I'll just listen to that on YouTube, or I'm going to listen to that on, because they put out crazy amounts of music videos.
Right.
Like, most songs will have a music video or will have a lyric video or something. Like they put everything out there because they're trying to suck you into their universe, which is fine. Not planned. No more scripting. That was the end of it. Survival goes to Stray Kids. So script is long gone. But we have looked into like all these other. There's all these like extraneous properties that go along with it. Like JYP has something called Bubble, which is an app, and you do in-app purchases to buy like tickets. And then if you have a ticket, you can talk to one member of a group that you choose. So like if you like one member of Stray Kids, you just say, okay, I'm going to buy this ticket, $5 a month, and I can chat to them and they can reply, but not to you. So the way it works is that individual people pay this money and they can send messages to Stray Kid, whatever Stray Kids member, let's say, we'll use Stray Kids as an example. And they go, okay, we sent this to you. I send you this message. They can see it. They get that message. They can see all the messages that they get from everybody who messages them. But nobody else can see your message. And when they reply, everyone sees their reply. So earlier when I was talking about Stay and how they use Stay as a stand-in for fans, they'll say things like, Stay, you're so cool, we love you, blah, 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 right? And they use it as like a pronoun, basically. Like instead, like they replace whatever your name might be. They're like, you are Stay now. When we're talking on social media and when we reply to things, we say, oh, Stay, you're so nice. Thank you for saying such kind words. So it's interesting. But some of these groups have, Twice has like 9 members. So if you wanted all of them, it's they do discounts for getting multiple tickets.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then there's a rhythm game, which Jeanette and I have been playing incessantly every single day. And it's one of those games that has like a million different menus and challenges daily, and you have to like stay on top of it. And it's got in-app purchases, all kinds of crazy shit. So, they monetize everything, but there's a ton of free content out there also. And because they put out such a huge amount of content, like even if you don't buy into the paid content sphere of these groups, like you still get so much content. It's really ridiculous how much they put out there, which like concerns me a little bit for people's well-being. They are humans. I mean, I know that they're idols, but like Jesus Christ, like, do you guys put out so much content? But it's also fun and funny, so that's why we're going to be watching it. So I think the kind of episodes that we're going to be doing, right, is we're going to start out, I think we should just marathon. We won't interrupt it. We're going to do the whole survival show. We'll do, one episode at a time, however long that takes, and release those as individual episodes. But then it becomes like a question mark to me, because I know that I would like to watch, there's one called Finding SKZ, which is like their first reality show. And the reality show means that like it follows them around and then they do things. They just go off and do stuff. You'll see some examples of that when watching the survival show. They do a little bit of it during the show. And they just kind of get to have fun and be cool or funny or whatever. Like they do that kind of stuff. Finding SKZ, it's not short, and you get to know their personalities, or the personalities that they're putting forward a little bit better. But they have a bunch of mini albums, so I think it would be fun to, as we're going through like the timeline, to like listen to the albums and or watch the music videos and just kind of see like, oh, okay, like here's where they were then and where they go. And it is important because the most recent show, the show that is currently airing, that they're on right now, is a survival show, but not in the same way. It's more of like so it's called Kingdom. And there was one previously called Queendom that Twice was on. In Kingdom, they basically took 6 like really popular boy groups and they put them against each other. And every week they put out a new episode where they have to come up with a concept, either using one of their own songs or something, and then put together like a huge stage show. And then industry professionals get to like vote on who they thought was best. And then fans get to vote. And then fan views on their videos count to give different amounts of points. So like it's a really crazy and like fun way to like engage with it. And it also gets us to like listen to like what other groups do. Like there's like 5 other groups on this show. So Jeanette and I have been super obsessed with that show right now. Jeanette's my wife, anyone listening who doesn't understand.
Yeah.
It's the first episode. They don't know me. You know me.
Right. Of course.
So it's really good, and that's what I was talking about, where like it's so important to me right now that we do this because I don't have anyone to talk to about it, and we're watching every week, and it's literally like, okay, oh, Monday rolls around, oh, they put up a preview, we gotta watch it, we gotta watch that preview, we gotta see that. Oh, that preview showed 2 seconds of a Stray Kids song. It's that song? What the fuck? And then like Wednesday rolls around, and then they're like, here's another preview. What?
Oh my lord. When do the episodes air?
Thursdays.
Okay.
So but it's Thursdays in or is it Wednesdays in Korea? It comes out in on Thursday, where we can watch it in the US.
Okay. Yeah.
But there's an app that we use to watch it that translates it so that you can see it, because it's for Korean TV or Korean. Yeah.
Wait, wouldn't that mean that it's Friday in Korea?
Right. Yeah, right, exactly. So, but the translation is generally not 100% done until Friday. And so, but the thing is with this specific show, one of the things that they gauge, like who does better at the end, is by who gets the most views on the video that they put up on YouTube. And so, that goes up at the same time as the episode. So like today, a new video went out, and we were like, we gotta watch it. And so we're immediately rushed, and we're like watching it and watching it, like repeating it all day, like watching this video to get the view count up and everything. Like all the fans are like working really hard to try and get the view counts up because we want that. But they're good and fascinating, and like it's just weird to see like this different side of them, where they're like putting on these huge shows that they have to like slap together last second. But it's just like, oh man, it's really taken over. And then of course like the episodes themselves have been like an hour and a half long. So it's really interesting just to see the different ways that they come up with to like tell stories. And Stray Kids, obviously my favorite, has really gone above and beyond to really destroy things. Like it's been really fascinating to watch like a boy group come out who's like older and just kind of do their normal thing. They get out, they put a smile on, they do a little dance, a little shimmy shake, and they sing really well, very crisp and clean. And then like Stray Kids come out, and they all have fake tattoos on their hands of wolves, and they're pretending to growl, and then they pull out knives and scratch them on the floor, and it's so uniquely Stray Kids that it's just weird, and it's gonna be weird, and you can't even, I want to tell you about it. Obviously I am telling you about it, but I can't like show it to you because we have to watch the survival show, because if you don't watch the survival show first, you won't know who makes it into the group at the end. So,
oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Or it'll be spoiled for me.
And there will, yeah, right. We don't want to spoil that. We're not spoiling that.
Yeah.
And there will be a couple of episodes I imagine we'll do over Stray Kids drama, because there's been some of that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. You can imagine that a young rapper in the group may have been copying rap groups from the US and accidentally said a word. So that happened. That's definitely one of them. There was a member who left the group in mysterious circumstances. So that'll be an episode, I'm sure. I don't know. I still don't understand exactly what happened there, but like, I find it weird that the fandom has like basically blotted him out. Like literally when they talk about him on the subreddit or on Twitter or whatever, they use asterisks in his name, so it doesn't like say his name.
Oh,
it's
right.
Super weird. It's fine if I guess if the production company's like, we're gonna pretend that person never existed, but it's weird that the fans do, unless something horrible really happened. I don't know.
Yeah,
so,
like it's blasphemous to talk about this guy.
Right, exactly. But like, I don't know, like you're people, like you are not the company. Like it makes sense if the company can't monetize this person anymore, so they won't talk about him. That makes sense. But like you're a fan, like who gives a crap? I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, those are the kinds of things. And then of course I think like K-pop history type stuff. Like there's some really like deep things. Like JYP, one of the things he's known for is wearing plastic pants. Like clear plastic pants.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting style choice. Can't say that I've ever done that. But you know.
But the reason behind it was like it was the 90s, and the censorship on TV in South Korea was super strict, to the point where you couldn't even have like an earring on TV. You couldn't wear an earring on TV. And so he went to an awards show and wore these plastic pants, so you could just see his full legs and underwear underneath it, because it skirted the line of the definitions, because he was trying to point out how ridiculous it was. And I'm like, that's fascinating. Like, that's super interesting. That like, but I didn't learn about that until much later. So it'll be interesting. I think there's a lot of topics, a lot of things we can explore. It'll be super fun. And I can't wait to watch the first episode of the Survival Show with you. It's gonna be great.
Okay, when are we planning on doing that?
I don't know, like tomorrow. You want to do tomorrow or?
Yeah, sure.
Not. Well, okay. All right. Well, anybody who's listening, once this episode is released, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
I'm Phil. This is Tom.
I'm Tom.
He's Tom. And this was I'll Make a Stay Out of You. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.